This morning on NBC 26 Today, a Green Bay firefighter is dead after serving his community for 17 years. The circumstances surrounding his passing. Plus, just 2 days after returning to the U.S., the wife of the Wisconsin father who admitted to faking his own death files for a separation. The latest updates in the Ryan Borgward case. And a large building in Howard that's been vacant for several years is getting torn down. So what's in store to replace the property? That story and more this morning on NBC 26 Today.
Good morning and happy Friday. I'm forecaster Avi Kargloth taking a peek at our Green Bay tower cam. Just saw a couple of vehicles on the road waking up on this Friday morning. Got a little bit of activity on College Avenue in Appleton this morning. After yesterday, it's certainly feeling still pretty cold. Temperatures right now around 0 in the Green Bay area and in the low single digits and in the negatives elsewhere. Our wind chill yesterday around this time was in the negative 20s, just to give you an idea of how much warmer we are. And yet it's still in the negative double digits across many neighborhoods and around 0 in the Green Bay area. We'll warm up throughout the day and have plenty of sunshine, but we're still going to be well below normal.
The Green Bay Metro Fire Department is mourning the loss of one of their own. Good morning and thank you so much for joining us. I'm NBC 26 Today's McLeod Hageman at Green Bay's Fire Station 6. What led to Tyler Kreider's death in just a moment, but first, let's go ahead and take a look at top stories making headlines from neighborhoods across northeast Wisconsin.
Ryan Borgward, the 45-year-old Watertown father of 3, who law enforcement says faked his death and fled to Eastern Europe, is now back in Wisconsin, and his wife has filed for separation. The shocking details of this case have catapulted his hometown into the national spotlight. I'm Margaret Cahill here in Watertown, where I spoke with folks about how they feel about the national attention.
Watertown's a great city, but even small, strange stories happen in a small town, bizarre stories.
And when it comes to bizarre stories, they don't get much stranger than the case of Ryan Borgward.
It's a guy who does have connections, and when you hear the increasing craziness of this story, it is definitely something that you say, not in Watertown, Wisconsin.
Tim Sullivan, editor of the Watertown Daily Times, knows this small, tight-knit community better than almost anyone. He says he initially didn't suspect anything to be amiss when a local father of 3 went missing during a kayaking trip in August.
He's, your average small town sort of guy.
But in October, law enforcement announced they found evidence that Borgward may have faked his death and fled the country. Was the community shocked?
Is there anybody that wasn't shocked? I think anybody who's heard about this story says, every detail you tell them, they're like, whoa, increasingly surprised reactions.
Earlier this week, the Green Lake County Sheriff's Office says Borgward returned willingly to the U.S., where he was arrested on a charge of obstructing an officer. He is now out on bail.
Do you think the community will welcome him back now that he's here?
It'll be interesting to see. Like I said, there's sort of an insularity to Watertown that can be really endearing, but it can also be the sort of thing that maybe if you're no longer on the inside because you've done something crazy like he's apparently done, then maybe you are no longer somebody that is protected by that insularity.
And while Watertown itself is in the spotlight, along with Ryan Borgward, some here are taking it all in stride.
I think that it doesn't matter where the person is from, whether they're from a big town or small town. It's about who the person is.
Borgward is set to appear in court again on the obstruction charges in January. In Watertown, I'm Margaret Cahill, NBC 26.
The man accused of assaulting several young girls at a water park will appear in court today for a plea hearing. Mauricio Palas is accused of sexually assaulting 2 13-year-old girls and attempting to sexually assault a 10-year-old girl within a 6-day stretch at the Tundra Lodge in Green Bay last January. Today's hearing will take place at the Brown County Courthouse. And a former Manitowoc County Sheriff's Lieutenant once involved in the 2005 Stephen Avery case appeared in court yesterday on charges of misconduct in office. David Remacher joined the hearing virtually but left his camera off. Prosecutors allege he mishandled money between 2017 and 2023 with more than $15,000 unaccounted for. These charges are not related to the Avery investigation. The 51-year-old was granted a $1,000 signature bond, and his next court date is set for December 30th. Now for an update in Wisconsin's fake electors case. In Madison, Michael Roman, Jim Trupis, and Kenneth Cheesebro acknowledged they understand the severity of the charges state prosecutors are bringing against them. Each man stands accused of 11 different felonies for helping organize a plot to submit false paperwork saying Trump won the 2020 presidential election in Wisconsin. Democratic Attorney General Josh Kaul first charged the 3 Trump campaign advisors in June of this year with a single count of forgery. Then this past Tuesday, prosecutors charged each of the 3 men with an additional 10 felonies. That's 1 count of fraud for each elector who cast a vote for Trump. Trupis, who was Trump's attorney in Wisconsin in 2020, was the only defendant to show up to courts in person yesterday. The others called in.
This is a political case. This has nothing to do with the law.
He brought with him a small crowd of supporters, including former Republican Governor Scott McCallum.
The law was followed. They followed every direction that was given to them, and now they're being punished for it.
The Department of Justice didn't respond to our request for comments on the case, and the court did not require the 3 men to pay bail, but they are prohibited from contacting any of the fake electors while they wait for trial. The next hearing in this case is set for January 28th. That's 1 week after Trump will be sworn into office for his second term as president.
Demolition of the former United Healthcare building in Howard will begin by the end of this month. Here at Village Hall, I learned how the Village of Howard will invest in the sprawling apartment and retail complex set to go up in its place.
They firmly believe that having happy employees would lead to productive employees.
Brett Christensen worked in the soon-to-be demolished building for more than a decade. That was when it was first built for a different company, American Medical Security.
It was more than a company to me, it was a community.
The announcement of the building's incoming demolition has Christensen reminiscing about his days as a tour guide and in the IT department.
It was a one-of-a-kind building in our area. We're not Chicago. We're not even Milwaukee, we're Green Bay. So to have a company headquarters in a small community like that, it was a big thing.
Howard Village Administrator Paul Everett says the village has big plans for the property, and the village board plans to make the area a tax incremental financing district, which means
any additional property taxes that are created as a result of new construction in that designated area can be used to for either developer incentives or to cover the costs of public improvements.
Everett says Howard will spend about $1 million on extending sewer lines, building sidewalks, and other public infrastructure on the property, which is owned by T-Wall Enterprises.
The developer has no intention of flooding the market with apartment buildings. They kind of want to do, somewhere between 52 to 140 units a year.
Terrence Wall of T-Wall Enterprises says the master plan includes about 1,200 units, 2 retail buildings, and some additional hotel or office buildings. Howard's an up-and-coming community, he said over the phone. He adds the property is in a fantastic location, close to Lambeau Field.
Whatever they built there, I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Everett says the first 2 apartment buildings in that area won't be ready for people to rent until 2026. In Howard, Perry Apostolakos, NBC 26.
Green Bay Metro firefighters are mourning the loss of one of their own in a line-of-duty death. Engineer and paramedic Tyler Kreider has died after battling cancer at the age of 43. Kreider served the department for 17 years and was stationed at Fire Station 6 on West Mason Street. According to a Facebook post on the department's page, Kreider was known for his bravery and dedication, but also for his determination both on the job and his fight against the disease. At this time, the fire department is asking for privacy for the Kreider family during this difficult time. For the latest developments on this story, you can check out our websites at NBC26.com. Reporting from Fire Station 6 in Green Bay, McLeod Hageman, NBC 26.
Well, everyone remembers our temperatures yesterday, right? Only getting to 10 degrees and everywhere else in the single digits. Warmer today, still noticeably below normal. Usually we're in the low 30s. Today, we're not expected to get to 20. If we do, we'll be just shy of that. 19 in Green Bay and colder basically everywhere else. But we'll have plenty of sunshine with high pressure in the area. The wind chills are still going to be cold and we warm up, but we're going to have some showers over the weekend. I'll tell you more with your full forecast after the break.
Up next, we're sharing new details in the case of Luigi Mangione, the suspected shooter of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Plus, with hundreds of reported drone sightings across the East Coast, officials and lawmakers are growing frustrated as the FBI and Homeland Security give little insights on their investigations. Breaking down what we know.